This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello and welcome to Moments of Clarity. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and I'm your host. And today I have an exciting guest and I'm very honored to represent strong women who have come a long way despite mental health issues. And want to say hi to Ed, who's at work every day spreading the message and being there for everyone.
Keeping something from spreading, but it's a daily fight. Because everybody comes in, they're just freaked out, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, they believe everything they hear and see, and it's just like...
And at least you're like not in physical contact with a lot of people.
No, and we wipe down between every guest. So,
and I did myself too, just to be safe. And so it's sparkling clean in here, at least for me right now. But never want to stop ending the stigma on mental health as long as we can keep doing it safe. And our guest is on the line, right, Ed? Just making sure. She has just entered her first year as minor league hitting coach with the New York Yankees. And she's the first woman to hold that title in the history of professional baseball and is joining 3 other women that will be in uniform this season in various roles. And she joined the Yankees after completing her second master's degree in biomechanics, and statistics in the Netherlands. And while in Amsterdam, she served as an assistant hitting coach for the Netherlands national softball and baseball programs and went on to complete her research at the world-leading baseball performance research facility in Seattle, Driveline Baseball. Previously, she was in several roles with the Houston Astros Strength and Conditioning Department. She completed the 2018 season with her AA affiliate, Corpus Christi Hooks, and served as the Latin American coordinator in her first 2 years with the organization. The first time she made history in professional baseball was in 2014 when she was fired at the first full-time strength and conditioning coach in the role of minor league strength and conditioning coordinator for the St. Louis Cardinals. She also worked in apprenticeship roles for the Louisiana State University, the Chicago White Sox, Arizona State University, Los Tigres de Licey Bispo, and Exos in her early career. I know I probably said that wrong, but the Omaha native is a former NCAA Division I softball catcher and has special interest in organizational culture and behavioral psychology in relation to coaching. She also has an undergraduate degree in exercise science and a master's degree in sport administration from LSU. And I'm honored to introduce my guest, Rachel Balkovec. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your time.
That's a mouthful.
It is. My mouth kind of went dry on that one. And so, wow, I applaud you on everything that you've accomplished. And I know that you've been interviewed on CBS and things of that nature because your journey is so phenomenal. And it's always amazing to see people break the pattern of history. And I am honored to have you here.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me on. And I always feel grateful just to be able to share my story with others, and hopefully someone out there gets something from it. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they will. And so let's start from the beginning and what got you into all this, and I guess where your moment of clarity came and how you've had to struggle to be where you're at today regarding mental health.
Okay. So do you want me to speak specifically on mental health?
However you'd like.
And what I want.
Yes, let's start with that.
Well, because it's interesting, like that topic is not something I always talk about, and My story is long, and there are many pieces to it, but
Let's do it. We have an hour.
That definitely, one of the things that definitely like lend itself to, I think, me getting into professional baseball is definitely that I played college softball. So that was a huge like determining factor just in my, I think, me getting into sports, not necessarily baseball. And so baseball came when, funny enough, I was dating a baseball player when I was playing softball in college. He was playing baseball at the same university. And he was drafted to play for the Dodgers in their minor league system. And I just really fell in love with the journey of minor league baseball because I, like many people, had no idea what minor league baseball is like. So it's just an extremely long journey, and it's a tough journey for these guys. And I got to learn all about that. So I think most people know, like, AAA baseball. But what they don't know is that there's actually 8 to 10 minor league teams for each major league team. So it's a much longer journey than most people realize, much longer than football, much longer than basketball. So it's a very like arduous time. And I just was fascinated by this journey. I was fascinated by Latin America and the business surrounding professional baseball. So that's why I wanted to get into it, because I kind of had this unique window as I was dating this guy we dated for 5 years, and my strength and conditioning career was taking off as he was going through the minor leagues. And so we're not together anymore, but he's such a nice guy, and just we're still in touch from time to time. And I always say, I learned a ton from him that helped me be successful early on when I was first getting into professional baseball and just understanding how it all works. That's how I got into it. But
yeah, it seems like they have a lot of challenges and really have to try hard if they are looking to move up and it's probably a lot of stress and sometimes shattered dreams, but sometimes hopeful dreams as well.
Yeah, and it's whether they make it or not, I think every player can look back and say that they've learned a ton through just having to go through all the hoops that they have to go through in minor league baseball. So that was originally how I kind of like learned about it and wanted to get into it because I was so fascinated by it. But before I did get into it, I would love to speak a little bit on mental health because I actually struggled with, in my own playing career in college softball, I had the yips. And so
the what?
For people the yips, yeah. So for people who don't know what that is, really common in baseball and softball. But basically it's like it's a form of game anxiety. And so you basically like struggle throwing the ball. And so if you ever see somebody have this, it looks like if a pitcher is on the mound and they get the yips, they can't throw a strike. Not only can they not throw a strike, but they're throwing the ball into the dirt halfway to home plate. They're throwing it over people's heads. It's like
they lost their what's it, drive, where some people like just lost their, in golf and stuff, their swing or whatever it's called, but and they have to find it again, and it's psychological. It is at times. Yeah. But how do you spell that when they're the yip?
I actually it's such a like undergrad term. I just spell it YIPS, I guess, but
like it's the yipes a little bit, but the yips.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never heard of it before, so that's something I learned today. But how it's termed in sports, it's still a mental health thing. So we'd probably phrase it a little differently, like stage fright or social anxiety or something else within. But
it's a form of anxiety. Yeah. So I ended up developing that, and mental skills was just not what it is today. Like mental skills with sports is so prevalent today, and if you are not talking to a sports psychologist as a high-level athlete, you're behind. That's something that it's just like physical practice anymore. But at the time, this was 10 years ago, which things have changed so quickly. At the time, sports psychology was not a big thing, and so when I was dealing with this, my coaches sent me to the student psychologist on campus that was not even close to remotely related to sports. And it was really hard for me to kind of get through that with that psychologist. And furthermore, I was embarrassed because, again, nowadays, you see a mental skills person, and that's normal. But then it was like I didn't want people to think that I was crazy or that I had this anxiety problem because anxiety is just this like terrifying thing. So I kept it a secret from my teammates, and I was embarrassed. Yeah, so
it's a stigma, man. It goes everywhere. Like with veterans and PTSD and other people that don't want to be labeled, and even in sports, don't want to see a psychologist because of feeling afraid, the fear of appearing weak or insecure.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I dealt with that, and on top of that, then I was struggling on the field, and many athletes deal with this, but I immediately, like, the end of my career happened in the middle of my career, where it was almost like a career-ending injury, but it was mental, and people weren't talking about it. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was mechanics. It was completely mental, and I was struggling with an identity loss because I had gone from, like, basically starting as a freshman and being really great player that I probably could have gone on and played some kind of professional, just physically the way that I was primed, but like in a matter of weeks, I couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher as a catcher. So I immediately had this like identity loss and suffered from depression. I don't like to say suffer from depression. Actually, I don't know why I just said that. I went through a depression.
Well, it's the same thing, but it's the terminology of felt the symptoms of depression, or went through situational depression or something like that, which is true, which happens to people. It's not a clinical, like it's not long-term clinically chronic major depressive disorder, but we do go through situational depression when we suffer with something that extreme. It's a change of life, identity crisis, something that, you fear your whole career is changing, and people that go through that when they lose jobs or through a divorce or especially after the loss of a job or loss of a sport, when they can't perform anymore. Then they're like, now what am I going to do? This was my thing. This is what I identified with. And it definitely is very common with that.
Yeah, it's it's something that, like you said, it transcends sports. Of course, it's everywhere, but for me, it was definitely a situational depression, or just I felt the symptoms of depression where it was like, I can't get out of bed, I'm tired all the time, and again, I had no idea what was going on, and I just was like going through it thinking, okay, this is normal, or I just didn't want to talk to anyone about it because I didn't want to seem crazy, and so I look back on that time, and now I've gone through another depression, but even when I was going through this second time in my life, where it was just a really trying time, I was able to recognize it for what it was, and then you can mitigate it faster and be self-aware. And
right, because you recognized it from the first time.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to put you on pause right here because it's time for our break.
Sure.
I also want to welcome callers to call in, 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. If you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook Live and you don't want to call in and you want to leave a question or comment, I'll try to get to it as best as I can for if you have a question or feedback for me or Rachel. 866-826-1340, and on YouTube it's Tan Talk Radio Network, and you'll see Moments of Clarity on live right now, and Facebook Live at Tiffany Warner. But we're going to go to our first break, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you or your loved one suffering from addiction to drugs or alcohol? My name is Steven Sundquist, and I'm a recovered addict. You are not alone. My team of dedicated professionals at All In Solutions Counseling Center is waiting to help you. With our evidence-based services, you can rely on us to help you get your life back. As addicts, we create a lot of excuses as to why it's not the right time to go to treatment. But the reality is there is no such thing as the right time when your addiction is the one in control. We accept most major insurances, offer a variety of treatment options, and can assist in the process of utilizing resources such as the Family Medical Leave Act, or FMLA. In my experience, FMLA allowed me to get the help I needed to return back to my place of employment with a healthy state of mind. Call now, 561-289-0779. Again, that number is 561-289-0779. 888-289-0779. 3 years ago, I made the call. Will you?
The promise of the new decade is that you can change your life by changing the way you think about your money. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow